So next is 10 Cloverfield Lane. This is definitely one that people struggled, especially because, like a few others that I'll talk about later, Cloverfield was found footage gold. Even people who don't like found footage films tend to like Cloverfield. To choose to do the sequel as a feature film is like a really huge gamble, but for me, I thought it was the right one. I think they made the right choice to turn that into a feature film. I even think it was a good choice to make it an isolation film, like the chaos of the original moment in the streets of New York, and put it into now what would happen if you thought this was going to happen. Maybe you're a doomsday prepper, maybe you prepared for this. And what does it look like to sit through that? More importantly, what happens when you're involved in what's going on and then suddenly find yourself in isolation, like our lead character does, trying to understand what the real threat is a lot of what 10 Cloverfield Lane is about. Picture this. You're all geared up for a sequel reminiscent of the jittery, handheld escapades that made Cloverfield a cultural icon. But then, 10 Cloverfield Lane pulls the rug out from under you. This isn't just another walk down the familiar, chaotic streets. No. This savvy twist transports you straight into the thick of a familiar saga, yet it feels like you've stepped into a whole new universe. Imagine yourself locked away from the world you know, immersed in a tension-filled narrative, with a blend of fear, suspense, and the thrill of the unknown. This movie keeps you at attention. Dive into a story that masterfully redefines the essence of survival. Is the threat next to you? Is the threat outside? Is the threat in the other room? Is the threat inside of you? All those questions are coming up in the film. And I think even by the end, you're still not totally satisfied that, any one person knew exactly what was going on. Was he dangerous to her? Or did this develop out of the chaos of what's going on? Is that the threat? Or did you just put yourself in a threatening situation by thinking you knew what it was? It's a really awesome film when it comes to that. We're supposed to be a unit as people, and we are often not. It's definitely a film that breaks down what does it mean to actually be in line with other people for a goal, and how can that go terribly wrong when you allow these fear-mongering thoughts to take over to the point of death. And great atmosphere build. And if for no other reason, it was an awesome performance by John Goodman. Very understated, very quiet. Reminded me a lot of Drive. Like, what's happening here isn't necessarily dialogue. It's a control that he had over his body, over his voice, these microaggressions, these micro moves. So I thought that was really cool. And I thought it fed into that same idea of the isolation, not really knowing what to what until it's too late.